Namaste. The knowledge in this series is the Bhagavad Gita as taught by His Holiness Swami Dayananda, Puja Swamiji. In the Gita, Lord Krishna begins teaching Arjuna what Arjuna is in chapter 2, which is the same as what you are, which is Atma. Atma is consciousness, consciousness in association with the mind, body, and sense complex. And Atma is limitless. This means that even though you, consciousness, stroke Atma, is associated with a limited body, you, Atma, are not limited. People don't generally appreciate this fact, so they don't perceive this limitlessness. They regard themselves as that being that is born, so must die. The assumption is they must die. That being that's limited in time and space, that being that suffers for this limitation of sadness. All of the struggles you've had in life, they're due to this wrong conclusion of limitation. You think that you're mortal, and because of this, you're prone to sadness. It's because you recognize yourself as something that you're not. If you were limited, you wouldn't try to be limitless, because being limited would be your nature and you would accept that. This is very important. The fact you fight against death, ignorance, and sadness, it shows that none of these are acceptable to you. It's because they're against your nature. You're not mortal. By this point in our series, you'll know we've already shown in simple terms how you're not the physical body. If you're watching this for the first time, guys, it's encouraged for you to go right back to the start of this series and see the way it is laid out. This series follows a teaching path that His Holiness Swami Dayananda taught in regard to the Bhagavad Gita. The physical body is an object known to you. It's a mistake to call this body I. You've a special relationship with your home, with our home that you call your own. Isn't this true? And likewise, you have a special relationship with the body, which you also call your own. But saying you're the body, it's the same as saying you're the home. It's not accurate. You're aware of the body, yes, like you're aware of hunger, thirst, etc. They're objects of your awareness. You're the knower and distinct from these objects, which is why you perceive those objects. I consciousness don't have any form. If you're sitting in a room, you can say that others are outside, but there's no outside or inside for consciousness. Think of space. If you're sitting in a room, you can say that you, others, walls, rooms, even the planet, are all in space. In the same way, all known objects, including the body, are within consciousness. It's possible, it's even possible for objects to be beyond your thoughts, of course, but it's not possible for objects to be beyond consciousness. It's a really important point. It's subtle, but it's obvious. Thought is regarded as one. Thought is regarded because one assumes when you think of an object that it alone is consciousness, because you're thinking of it. But an object, the thinker, and even the thought are all within consciousness. Since everything is consciousness, there is no division. Since everything is consciousness, there is no division. Even time only exists in consciousness. When you're happy or even asleep, you're not aware of time. And it's here that time is resolved. And eternity, timelessness is revealed. People think eternity is something that exists forever, but eternity can't be a period in time because time doesn't include eternity. This is really important. For example, a mountain may exist for a very long time, but we can't say it's eternal as it's subject to time, beginning and end. The very definition of time comes and goes, though consciousness isn't affected by it. What's eternal can't be affected by time. I consciousness isn't affected by time, so isn't subject to death. Consciousness is neither born nor dies. It's free from time. Before a thought is born, during a thought, and after a thought, consciousness always is. Before there's a wave, there is water. When the wave is, there is water. And when the wave is gone, water still is. Huh? The only thing that's happened is that the wave has dissolved back into water. That form of water has dissolved back into water itself. Thoughts arise in the same manner. Thoughts exist, and thoughts resolve back into consciousness. Even space-time exists in consciousness, though consciousness can't come and go, for it's beyond time. This is why consciousness, chit, in Sanskrit, is called existence, sat, in Sanskrit. I consciousness don't have a boundary in space or time, for I am limitless. Every place is Brahman, consciousness. Sanskrit for consciousness. So where is Brahman not? Where is space not? As another example. Space is everywhere. Of course, everything you look at is consciousness, including the eyes, sight, and the person who looks. Brahman, consciousness, is so subtle that it can't be known as an object. If you don't understand that you're a Brahman, you're going to look elsewhere. Though, how long and far are you meant to look? It really doesn't matter, guys, where you look, inside or outside, here, there, everywhere. You'll never find Brahman. It's not possible. And that's because you are Brahman. You have always been Brahman. You have always been consciousness. You are that which you seek. Structures like walls seem to divide space, but do they really? Of course not. Space is always all pervasive, not ever divided. In the same way, space only seems to be divided, consciousness only seems to be divided among people and other objects. The illusion of division gives the illusion of limitation. And both of these cause suffering. Suffering is due to the unrest within the person that comes about by the desire to be free from division and limitation and be whole and complete. But what about happiness? Happiness is what the mind experiences when there's no desire to fulfill any sense of limitation. In this manner, it can be said that desire is in regard to limitation. Once a desire is fulfilled, the unrest in the mind clears and contentment is revealed. The problem with desire is that satisfying one desire is never enough. Like the problem with happiness is that it's never constant. Everybody wants more, better, or different, even if they're happy right now. It's important. So they endlessly search for the next thing that they think brings completeness. Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, traditional Vedanta, reveals that peace and contentment is an indicator of your limitlessness. In fact, in this context, it can be said that you are happiness. Just in this context. Or a better way to put it is that you are that which does not have unrest due to limitation, because you are always complete, not lacking, not needing anything. Purnatvam in Sanskrit. Thank you for watching this short video clip again, guys, and thank you for continuing to support our Arsha page and also our Arsha group. If you follow the link at the end of this video, you'll come to our page and there will be a link for our study group as well. We have a Swami within the group who has begun delivering classes. And at the minute we're studying Guru Stotram, but there will be other classes ongoing and everyone's welcome to join the group. It's an Arsha group. You're welcome to join the group and you're welcome to study with the Swami as well, Swamiji as well. Any questions or comments, please write in the box below, and you can always DM me if you want. And I'll see you next week, guys. Okay. Namaste, and have a really, really great weekend. Namaste.